It's Wednesday, February 22nd, and time for your Barbados Today morning update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. Our top story at this hour, the president of the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union adds her voice to calls for a police investigation into allegations of sabotage at Combermere School. Mary Redmond's appeal came on the heels of yet another disruption of classes at the Waterford St. Michael institution yesterday. There have been claims by some officials, including Education Minister Ronald Jones, that sabotage had been the cause of persistent environmental issues plaguing the school, with outspoken teacher Reverend Charles Morris insisting that the minister should call the police. Now Redmond has joined the head of the history department, saying lawmen should be called in.
I agree entirely with the statement made by Reverend Charles Morris, who is one of our vice presidents of the union, when he was the first person to say that if sabotage is suspected, then police should definitely be called in. I am in full agreement with that statement.
I see.
That if there is any sabotage suspected, then definitely the union is fully supportive of authorities calling in the police.
Yeah, but I mean,
if there is evidence to support sabotage, definitely.
Okay.
Because if that is the way of getting problems at the school resolved, that should be done forthwith.
An afternoon of fun and games turned into a horrifying experience for a 14-year-old boy from St. Michael yesterday. While playing at the back of his home in Phillips Road, St. Stephen's, the teen discovered a human skull in a bushy area just after 1 o'clock. His mother, Donna Husbands, who moved her family there back in December last year, said it was a frightening experience for her youngster. She said the teenager, who likes catching fowls, went to the back of the house, and while he was standing, he recognized something white in the bushes. She said he came and informed her of the situation. They were then accompanied by the landlord, and what he had seen was confirmed. The matter was reported to police, who have since removed the skull from the area and are carrying out investigations. In other news, the government's economic policies have failed, and it is facing an uphill task in seeking to correct its errors. That's according to outspoken Minister Dr. David Eswick, who maintains that an alternative economic plan presented by him to Cabinet just over 3 years ago should have been accepted instead of the policies pursued under the supervision of Finance Minister Chris Sinclair. He tells Barbados Today government ignored his persistent warnings that the policies and strategies it was pursuing would not work. Dr. Eswick's comments come amid the growing criticisms against the ongoing printing of money to finance the Treasury, the worrying level of foreign exchange reserves, and the legal battle between Sinclair and the central bank governor, Dr. Delisle Worrell. He said he had been expressing those concerns even before he began writing a series of letters to Cabinet in 2013. Meantime, outgoing Executive Director of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Lisa Gale, says the business community remains jittery as the economy shows no signs of recovering. We get more in this report from Malin Madden.
In her final message as head of the business grouping, Gale expressed disappointment at the snail's pace at which government was moving to iron out a range of private sector concerns, including high debt levels and the attendant debt servicing that was necessary. Equally worrisome, said Gale, was the declining foreign exchange cover. And she said the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry continued to look forward to better fiscal consolidation, growth in investments, better business facilitation, and significant boost to the foreign exchange standing. She also expressed concern that there was still no firm date as to when the Custom and Excise Department would be merging with the Barbados Revenue Authority. However, Gale gave the assurance that the BCCI would continue to be a voice on behalf of the private sector in demanding answers. I'm Marlon Madden reporting for Barbados Today.
In sports, Blue House are still the champs at Dighton Griffith Secondary School. Competing at the school grounds, Blue House ensured it stayed in the top spot for the second year running, tallying 1,427 points to stave off competition from Greenhouse with 1,326 for second place. Red House tallied 1,206, followed closely behind for third place, and Yellow House with 1,067.5 points in fourth. There was one record-breaking performance in the under-13 boys long jump from Micah Thompson of Greenhouse with a distance of 4.77 meters that replaced the 4.69 mark set back in 2005 by Winnemere Bourne.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's the celebration of agriculture, 50 years and beyond. Come and experience this year's AgroFest exhibition at the historic Queen's Park on February 24th to 26th.
Box offices: Barbados Agricultural Society, Roberts Manufacturing Feed Store, Clear Vision Optical, Massey Stores Barbados Limited, Worthing, Sunset Crest, Oystons, and Sky Mall. Massey Stores Home, Sheraton and Pierhead, Cape Shepherd Broad Street, Waterworld Pet Shop, Jordan's Complex Spikestown, Ticket Centre, Massey Supercentre Warrings. Be there.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only $2.25. $2.20 who? For what? That's the BSTU news. I don't read about that on Barbados today since last night. That can't only can't do. $2.20 who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the Belize Prime Minister Din Barrow says nothing is off the table as his government prepares to deliver its annual budget. Barrow says strengthening the local economy is a must at this time, which must be done by either collecting more revenue and applying other belt-tightening measures.
Nothing is off the table. As I said, we have to find ways of increasing the revenue, and while to some extent that process has to be driven by better collection efforts. Of course, we can't rule out the distinct possibility that there will have to be some new measures that might look at moving some of the pressure points. So I'm not trying to be cute, I'm not trying to conceal anything from the public, but it is the fact that I can't say too much more because we are still grappling with this very complex process, and I might end up misspeaking, telling you something that as we continue our exercise, we have to depart from.
On the international front, the Donald Trump administration issues tough guidelines to widen the net for deporting illegal immigrants from the U.S. and speed up their removal. According to reports, undocumented immigrants arrested for traffic violations or shoplifting will be targeted along with those convicted of more serious crimes.
Sources tell CNN the draft order revises the original botched order, which caused confusion, mass protests, and portions of it were halted by multiple federal courts. The take two of the order, expected later this week, is intended to be a streamlined, tightened-up version, according to administration officials, which sources say will exempt green card holders, take out any preference for certain religious minorities allowed in the country, and attempt to fix the due process concerns of the federal appeals court that blocked the original order by giving detailed notice of restrictions on those people coming from the 7 identified countries with current or pending visas.
We will have a short phase-in period to make sure that people on the other end don't get on airplanes. But if they're on an airplane and inbound, they'll be allowed to enter the country.
The Muslim ban has got to go. Secretary Kelly promising less chaos this time.
I will have opportunity to work a rollout plan, in particular to make sure that there's no one, in a sense, caught in the system of moving from overseas to our airports, which happened on the first release.
That report from the CNN brings us to the end of our news and sports update, but there is more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.